Good day, friends. This is an episode where we have in our hands the book entitled Normal People by Sally Rooney. I read this book in an attempt to compensate for the volume of classical books that I had been devouring lately. I also learned that there is a movie adaptation of this book, and I think that makes it an exceptional story. And plus, the setting was Trinity College in Dublin, and I think I still have a fixation in not being able to live in Ireland. Plus, I have a boring high school and college life that I have to make up for because I chose a course that actually matters in the economy. Those were my parameters. I guess why I picked up this book before starting to read Jane Eyre or Anna Karenina. It's a relatively short novel compared to those two books that I previously mentioned. It just brings me to think that I have a fascination also with the title. Like most readers think that they are normal or sort of not special, so reading a book about normal people would make sense, right? If you haven't read the book, I suggest you need to skip this episode because spoilers are to follow. I am deeply frustrated that, as all novels, I have to read again something that involves sex. I am so over with novels that contains this because I had read many novels and some of them contain those scenes. So it does not surprises me anymore. Like, what else could there be? I don't know if any of you had read a Sister Soldier book entitled Winter. That was a highly graphic novel. Or if you had read a Janet Ivanovich novel. I'm a fan of her Stephanie Plum series, although I was not able to catch up. But her writing on bed scenes are the ones that introduced me to the sensual side of novellas. Yes, in short, writing pornos, but I have nothing against it except that sometimes they are more vivid than in the movies. But let's stop with that topic. There's a whole different podcasts about that in many platforms. So the journey of the characters we have here, Marion and Connell, is long because it was from senior years to college, like from year 2011 to 2015. Very recent and very millennial. But the author highlighted only the worst events on the life of the two main characters. Like, only the worst. So if you feel like you have picked up the right book to cheer you up and give you a good sleep, I feel sorry for you. Because this may not be a horror story, no, but the cruelty is more horrific than that of vampires and werewolf stories combined. Picking up a book like this is a crucial thing to do because it's investing time on the characters and you have to make sure that you finish the book. Otherwise, you'll be making up stories about it or stories about the characters. Or if you don't finish it, you cannot get back the hours again that you spent reading it. It would be a waste thinking that you have better things to do. I really wanted to finish the novel that fast because it was painful. I feel sorry for the two people as they suffer mental incapacities. It's all in their head, like their problems were majority in their heads, their thoughts. That's where the conflict revolves within their mental states. I feel like the only normal people in the book was the mother of Connell and his roommate Niall, and the rest were all sounds weird to me. It's difficult to be involved with these types of people, but I feel a strong desire to help them. I mean, in the real sense. I met suicidal people, especially teenagers in my life, and I feel that the lack of communication and support is what makes the situation worse for them. I have nothing against social media, but it was one of the common denominator that triggers from all these teenagers that I met. If you are mentally ill, you seem not to notice what is happening. It's easy to be tired and to be frustrated. Then suddenly, you feel completely miserable. Then you don't know why. If only someone will tell us what is going on, or we can identify that in ourselves, what is going on, we could possibly get back to a more normal state. So, this book is relevant for today's young people, but I am not sure if it is a good idea that young people who suffers from depression and acute or chronic mental problems should read this book. Although the moral was there, the part where seeking counseling was tackled, it does not make the story any lighter or suitable for this type of audiences. Well, talking about mental illness, which still poses a social stigma in our society, it was the one major leap this story takes. No wonder it became a sensation because many people are silently or overtly suffers from all these troubles. I am pro mental health, but I do not advocate medications because of their side effects and the drug dependency, of course. I am more on the side of therapeutic communication, social interaction, art and music therapy, and of course, diet therapy. But it's a personal discretion and depending on the severity of the illness, of course. If taking a medication will save you from ending your own life, why bother thinking about the side effects, right? In the story, the characters emerge successful, I guess. I'm glad that I can go to sleep thinking that Connell is no longer depressed. But there's a part two, I guess. Like, the ending was not yet the end. And they're still young, so the possibilities of normal people part two is there. Probably it's already in the writer's head, or maybe as we speak, there is already a published one. If you have read this book, I understand that you might have a different opinion or a much relevant opinion than what is mine. But it's a fiction. It could end up in any way the writer wanted it. And as a reader, we have no power to change whatever happens. If you were the writer, what would you change in the story? Because if I were write the life of Marian, I would let her be happy. She was rich. Her mom is a lawyer. She could have invested her time in better ways. She could have joined volunteer groups, immerse herself in writing, have a pet, or go shopping. Marian have the classic first world problems and the rest of her family. But that doesn't mean there are no options for her to be happy, especially when you're financially capable. Yet the author was best in making Marian suffer just like that. You don't know if you will feel sorry or you will be annoyed. But in the end, she's still lucky she have Connell. Not all guys could put up with that kind of personality, so congratulations, Marian. You must be very good on Connell. When I read this book, I have no idea who the writer is and what books she had previously written. I did not bother looking her up in the internet, and good thing I did not do that because it was the best surprise in the book. The writer, with the name of Sally Rooney, is young. I did not linger much on the cover because I was reading this on ebook form and discovered that she won those Young Writers Awards. There is no better word to put this than to say that I am jealous of her achievements as a person who's millennial. She's like older than me in a few years. When I was reading this, I felt the high maturity level of the writer. The flow and readability in her story was excellent because you will not be lost even if there are tons of flashbacks. Of course, and she did not get the modern tone and setting wrong because she is living in the generation. Okay, I gave this book 5 stars despite of my jealousy. I feel proud that in my generation someone could write a story so compelling like this. I feel like I need to read more stories written by young writers. Until the next book talk, just send me your recommendations and we'll put that in our list here in Book Academy. Thank you.